I mean, it's simple. Oh, martial law, they're going to reach in D.C., and I'll tell you, it's good. Whatever, man. Whatever. Don't you read further and it says, he shall be saved out of it? But he shall be saved out of it?
Yep.
What are you, a fool? We kids are a fool? Wisdom is too high for fools out here. And it's very evident. It is very, very evident. But it's to be expected. And this is just a short rant because it is time for us to step up our advances. We've been sitting back in the cut and going, you know what, I ain't going to mess with them because they dumb as up. They dumb as up.
And I agree, many of our people, like them campers predominantly, it's like they cannot reason out a matter, and it's because they're under many dogmatic belief systems and precepts of mortal men. All right, but so are my Akis, all right? Though they're on a higher level than the campers, all right? And, bro, I'm alone, goddammit. Like, how much longer? Like, oh, God. I'm tired, Father. I'm tired. Oh, Lord. I'm so tired, bro. They act like I don't exist. I'm seen as irrelevant by the nations and by my own damn people, bro. I am not accepted, man. I have not been accepted amongst my brethren. I've literally been casted off as irrelevant. Treated as if I'm worthless. Treated as if I'm of no value. And I'm tired, bro. Like, y'all keep acting like we don't exist. Those of us with a tender heart condition. All right? Like, we're here. And you're not going to keep acting like we don't exist. We are out here.
So now we're on the offense. We're not offended by the ignorance of these people, but we're now on the offense. And we don't have there's nothing, no one's going to come against us. All praise to the Most High. Nobody. They can't.
The reason these nations can't come against us is because the Father has given us a mouth with wisdom where none of our adversaries are able to gainsay. All right? He's given us our records, our spiritual records. We're able to go in all of these spiritual records, historical records, and just literally destroy this whole false ass reality with the truth by way of the Spirit. We are the living witnesses. We're the final living witnesses. And this is why the nations are instructed to cleave unto us and assist us in our assigned spiritual mission. Okay? You are to help us. But when you instead continuously uphold this false as Eurocentric reality over us, even though you can see your tribulation, your demise on the horizon, you can clearly see your demise on the horizon, and we've been telling you for several years that it was coming. We've been telling you for several years. We've been telling you for several years that the curses were going to move off of us and go upon you. And We can prove it. We've been showing you. The whole prophecy is attached. We know what's coming for you because we already been through it. All right? So we're able to see it.
All right. So we've already been through it. So we're able to see it. Okay?
All right? So we're able to see it.
Clearly. If we've been through it, then we would be able to see it. The reason why the majority of the nations cannot see their demise, even though they are clearly seeing and sensing their demise, all right, they don't realize the reason why. They're speculating all of these reasons why they're going through tribulation. But they don't have the real spiritual clarity and or understanding. They're blindly following their religion. Alright, sorry about that. So, I don't know what year I took this screenshot. Let's see, hold on a second. Let me see. I think this might have been 2023. Let me see. This has been going on for a while, and you know, this really ramped up in 2019. It really began to fire up. That's when it began to fire up, because your time was up. All right, and we have been telling you since 2019 that your time was up. Even 2017, we were telling you when that first strike came across America with that eclipse. 1 second, people. I'm trying to get the properties of this. Okay, it was 2022. October 13th of 2022. Okay? And so it was recent, around this time, that this was going on. Okay? So you already know what's happening to the system. Okay? 1 second. You already know what's happening to your economy. Okay? You know that the US dollar conquered the world, but for some reason you keep ignoring that this is connected to biblical prophecy. Real biblical prophecy. See, you don't want to go down that route, because in order to go down that route, you will get to the root that the economic system that has been established is the beast. Okay? That's the beast that was created by brute force. Okay? And your mentality and your heart condition concerning this money would determine whether you have the mark of the beast in your forehead or merely just in your hand. Okay? Now we all have the mark in our right hand. We all have the mark. I don't know what makes you people think that is a choice whether or not you will receive the mark. Okay? Everybody has the mark. He will cause all to receive a mark, either in one or the other, the forehead or your hand. Okay? You need to understand everybody has the mark. Because the mark is the economic system, and everybody is forced to participate in the economic system. Okay? This has been what has been imposed and enforced upon all humanity. Okay? It was imposed upon all humanity. The US dollar conquered the world. Okay? The U.S. economy and currency caused the whole world to go astray. Okay? They drank the wine of her intoxication. Okay? Fiat currency. Alright? Man, come on now. The second beast was permitted to give breath to the image of the first beast. Alright? So understand, the first beast was the Roman Empire. Okay? So that the image could speak and cause all who refuse to worship it to be killed. Clearly, if you don't have money, then you would be killed. So this was going on somewhat in the Roman Empire. Okay? And then in the revived Roman Empire that we've all been living in, okay, the reality that we were born in was the revived Roman Empire, okay? The economic system was established by the worst of the heathen. It was not established by righteous people. You Christians, you evangelical Christians, you have been mistaken. You've been following the Antichrist. You've been in one accord with the beast system. Okay? The New World Order. Why do you think they called it the New World? When they came over here, it was new to them. Okay? But it wasn't new to the indigenous people of this land. It wasn't new to the actual people of this land. Okay? It wasn't new to us. It's the biblical land. It was the most coveted land. All nations coveted this land. This is the land of legend. They opened up this land to all nations to come live their American dream. All right? Enjoy the fiat currency after it conquered the whole damn world. But now it's being destroyed. And there's nothing that they can do to stop it. Your time is up. We've been telling you that your time is up, but you keep ignoring us as if we're irrelevant and as if we're blowing smoke. This is exactly why you're about to reap centuries of the wickedness that you and your people have been sowing in order to get the position where you've been established in this system. Okay? The second beast require all people, small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their forehead. Okay? He calls all. All right? Required all people. All right? To receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. You Christians want to believe that this is literal. It is not literal. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time in this, people, because, I'm really trying to get through this audio, but I'm going to kill your doctrine, okay? Because you have no spiritual clarity and or understanding concerning the mark of the beast. Come on now. Okay, bro. Come on. I don't want it to bring up a whole lot of stuff. Okay. Let's see. The beast and power and influence of money are explained, as well as the marks of the beast. Those who have the mark of the Lamb in their foreheads are the elect of God. All right, and you keep mistreating us. All right, you like all my life, I did not know why I was being mistreated, but that's because I have had the mark of the Lamb in my forehead. Okay, even though I was also subjected to this wicked ass system, okay, requiring all, okay, small, okay, I'm considered small, and I'm considered poor, okay, I'm considered a slave. I am not free, okay, I am a prisoner of war under oppression and tyranny, okay, literally. All right? And all my life, I'm being required to pay my enemies who set themselves in authority over me, ruling over me with my own damn resources upon my own damn ancestral land. We got no physical might in our hands against this beast that's upon this land. All right? Nevertheless, I was planted here. Moroni describes the difference between a righteous and an evil nation. Oh, bro. I don't want to get into all of that. So much. I just want to stick to one thing. Alright. Clearly, behold, there's no way a man can live in the latter days except he have the mark of the beast in his right hand. Nevertheless, that does not mean that he must have the mark of the beast in his forehead. Therefore, it is a choice. So it's dealing with your mentality, okay? There's a reason why most people's mentality is geared after root hog or die poor. Money don't grow on trees. If you don't learn to earn and save your own money, don't think you're going to get a handout from me. See, it is that mentality and heart condition that is completely contrary and opposed to divine love and all things good. Okay? Is dealing with selfishness and is dealing with a carnal flesh. Okay? Is lacking spiritual intelligence, is lacking spiritual clarity and understanding, only caring about the physical reality, the here and now. Well, money is being required from me, and I'm being forced to earn it in order to save myself in this reality that you call the beast system. What makes you think that I should support you? Well, you should uphold this truth so that the truth can spread. You should love this truth because it is the eternal truth. I'm not your enemy. You keep making yourself my adversary. And it's a choice that you're choosing. You choose to harden your heart condition. You choose to sear your conscience. And when you sear your conscience, that means you have the mark of the beast in your forehead. Okay? The beast shall cause all to receive this mark in their right hand. Okay? But he shall not have the power over you to make you receive it in your forehead. You know what makes you receive it in your forehead? Your ego, your pride, selfishness, refusing to humble yourself like a little child to unlearn the indoctrination of this wicked ass system will cause you to harden your heart condition and sear your conscience. And you were deceived by your lower carnal nature, which is your Satan, your ego. Okay? You must crucify your flesh and walk in the Spirit. This is regardless of what nationality, what bloodline, what sex you were born. Okay? It has everything to do about the Spirit. Who are you within your fleshly meat suit? That's what it's about, people. Who are you really? The adversary do not have the power to force you to be selfish. He can strong arm you into being selfish. This is exactly what the wicked do, because guess what? Greed is an insatiable demon. And those who've taken control over the earth, God's creation, all its resources, everything, they're insatiable. They cannot get enough. It's like, how much money do you need? I mean, damn. Like, how much is too much? Like, how many houses do you need? How many cars do you need? Like, and you causing all of this suffering upon the earth. There's so many people going without their bare necessities, but you got all of this money. You got yachts, and you got beach houses, you got cabins in the woods, you got lake houses, you got like, what? You just living lavishly while there's so much suffering. This is not a righteous reality. This don't come from the true and living God. This comes from the adversary. And is a choice that people are making to stick with this way of living. What does it profit you to gain the whole damn world and lose your soul? What the hell do you think that means? When you gain the whole world, you are made man. That means you don't have to answer to nobody in the physical because you got money. Can't nobody impose anything upon you because you got money. You got power by your money. When the world is controlled by evil people who establish money as the pinnacle for sustainability, okay? Where prosperity is the pinnacle that everyone is seeking, physical prosperity, all right? Everybody is seeking to gain physical prosperity, all right? Gain the whole world. Build up your money so that you don't have to answer to anybody. So you can be your own boss. All right? But that you're doing that in your own might. And you're paying the worst of the heathen with the currency that you had to spend your time, energy, and effort earning. Okay? In order to glorify yourself. All right? But you want to vainly confess out your mouth that you're glorifying and loving the true and living God who created the heavens and earth. Gave us the breath of life. Everything that the true and living God did was out of divine love. But everything that we were born into within this world, this reality, was created out of nothing but pure hatred, pure wickedness. We're all taught according to the ideology of the worst of the heathen. And people don't want to unlearn the indoctrination. That's no one's fault but your own. You refuse to humble yourself. All right? One second. Alright. The day of reckoning. Alright, y'all don't want to believe that it's coming. Alright, you don't want to believe that it's coming. You don't want to believe it at all. Alright, you want to think that you're all powerful because of your money. Alright, your materialistic things. Okay? So the pride of man will be brought low. This is Isaiah 2:17. And the loftiness, hold on, let me go ahead and go over here. Oh, hold on. Okay, the haughtiness. All right. Arrogance. That's what I was looking for. Yep, arrogance. All right. The arrogance, okay? The arrogant will be humbled. All right? The true and living God alone will be exalted in that day. Guess who I am exalting? See, I declare the God that called me out of darkness into his marvelous light. All right, this is the book of Enoch, chapter 105. All right, while they have been trodden down by wicked men, we have heard from them revilings and blasphemies, and we have been ignominiously treated while we've been blessing the true and living God. We've been exalting our God, okay? While the whole world has been exalting in God we trust. All the makers of idols, your money is an idol, okay, will be put to shame and disgraced. They will go off into disgrace together. All those who are following them, okay, you are upholding this wicked ass system, okay. But the true and living God will save the people of the Yahudim with eternal salvation throughout everlasting ages. They will never again be humiliated and disgraced. Clearly, all of this time, y'all, as in the nations, have been disgracing so-called African Americans. Okay? You want to call us African Americans, but you know that we are the people of the true and living God. Yeah, we're the people of eternal benevolence. We're the covenant people of these lands. For thus says eternal benevolence, who created the heavens. He is God. He formed the earth and fashioned it. He established it. He did not create it to be empty, but formed it to be inhabited. And he provided everything that we needed. Everything that we could ever want and or need. This don't belong to the worst of the heathen. It was merely allotted for a certain amount of time. All right? And the idols will vanish completely. All right? Yep, for the day of the Lord of hosts will come against all the proud and the arrogant, against all that is exalted. It will be humbled. Want to play with the children of light? Really? Y'all gonna stop playing with us. This is the book of Enoch, chapter 96. Woe to you, you simple ones, for you shall perish in your simplicity. To the wise you will not listen, and that which is good you shall not obtain. Now therefore, know that you are destined to the day of destruction, nor hope that sinners shall live. But in process of time you shall die, for you are not marked for redemption, but are destined to the day of the great judgment, to the day of distress, and the extreme ignominy of your souls. Woe to you, ye obdurant in heart, who commit crime and feed on blood. Whence is it that you feed on good things, drink and are satiated? Is it not because our Lord the Most High has abundantly supplied every good thing upon the earth? To you there shall be no peace. Woe to you who love the deeds of iniquity. Why do you hope for that which is good? Why you think that you're about to be raptured, to go up to heaven, to live with Jesus forever? You are in a strong delusion. Know that you shall be given up into the hands bruh, you gonna be delivered into our hands, but we're not gonna cut off your necks physically. We're not gonna slay you and show you no compassion. No, the righteous don't do that, okay? So my Akis are incorrect when they read this with such vigor and zeal, like they can't wait to mistreat others. That's not righteous, all right? However, everyone is going to reap according to their deeds, okay? And there are going to be a portion of these nations that are going to go into harsh captivity because there are some stiff-necked, disobedient of the covenant people that have been cut off from the holy people, okay? We're not one and the same, and there's 3 levels of the kingdom, okay? There's 3 levels of the Father's kingdom. Father, Mother's eternal kingdom. 3 levels. Okay? And all of you that are on the lowest level, that's the lowest level, you're not going to be on these lands. And there's going to be certain designations, all right, for those of the terrestrial kingdom. Okay? But the celestial kingdom, all right, you know, the inner sanctum, okay, that's only going to be for those who choose with their freedom of choice to operate in divine love, compassion, kindness, mercy, empathy, generosity, purity, holiness, righteousness. Right now, demonstrating it unto the children of light. Demonstrating it unto the living witnesses. Okay? That's how you will be delivered with us. That's how you will be able to get to partake of the goodness with us. You don't get to usurp us. What, you think that the true and living God can't see you? You think the true and living God can't see your corrupted mentality and your hardened heart condition? You are deceiving yourself, people. Okay? Now, the righteous don't do wickedly. I just explained to you that there's 3 different levels of the kingdom. And it's going to be here on the earth coming soon. Okay? Woe to you who rejoice in the trouble of the righteous, for a grave shall not be dug for you. Okay? Woe to you who frustrate the word of the righteous. That's refusing to uphold this truth, but instead doing your best to ignore and or suppress and or diminish this truth. Okay? Acting like it doesn't exist. Acting like we ain't out here. Alright? This is what you're doing. You're frustrating the word of the righteous. You know goddamn well it's not righteous to live a life of selfishness. For to you there shall be no hope of life. You've been working all your life to save your own damn life by earning your reward of money for a living from the worst of the heathen who established this satanic ass system. And you have been complacent with Satan's kingdom. Alright? Woe to you who write down the word of falsehood and the word of the wicked, for their falsehood they record, that they may hear and not forget folly. To them there shall be no peace, but they shall surely die suddenly. Again, that was from the book of Enoch, chapter 96. The apocalypse of Baruch. Let's start in verse 4. For you see that he whom we serve is just, and our Creator is no respecter of persons. And you see what has befallen Zion. All you nations know what befell us. all you nations know. Y'all know what befell us. And the heathen shall know that the house of the Yahudim went into captivity for our iniquity, because we trespass against our God, the true and living God. Therefore, we didn't have our God protecting us. Our God did not deliver us. And during the time frame that our God was not delivering us, y'all was able to just live your heyday. Y'all were able to just have a field day. Okay? Like the parents weren't home and you just got to throw a giant party. Okay? But the parents are returning. Okay? Because the children, their spiritual children have been awakened. Okay? And there's a small portion of us that are being obedient. So guess what? Our parents are coming for their children. Okay? Yeah, we were allotted into the hands of our enemies during that time frame. And yeah, we fell by the way of the sword. That's why we had to be resurrected. For I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people. But in the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves. Oh, well, we know who we are now. Yeah, we were spiritually sleeping, while all you nations got to literally just trample upon us. Constantly saying, repeat after me, you are not the children of the Yahudim. You are African Americans. You are nothing. You are what we deem you. You are beneath us. We are superior to you. We rule over you. So y'all seen what befell us? Y'all seen what happened to Jerusalem? For the judgment of the mighty one shall thereby be made known, and his ways, which though past finding out, are right. See, the only reason it says though past finding out is because people refuse to humble themselves like little children in order to get the spiritual clarity and the understanding of why a benevolent God would allow such wicked things to happen. Okay? This is the $1 million question. Why would such a loving God allow such wickedness to happen? Why would such a loving power allow this type of reality? It's out of righteousness. It was to get us, his hidden ones, to seek and find him, obtain his spiritual wisdom, the clarity and the understanding, and freely give it unto all nations, giving all nations the divine opportunity to receive this spiritual clarity and understanding. Apply the living word to their life and live it, thereby being delivered with us. See, it's not out of evil that the true and living God allowed this. He had to allow it because of his covenant people that kept doing evil. What was he just supposed to allow the evil of his covenant people to continue against his innocent creation? The only way to end it in love, out of benevolence, was not by force, not by strong arming, but to allow everybody to reap the deeds that we sow. Okay? That is an eternal law. And there's divine time intervals that's been established. This is to purify the righteous. All right? And the wicked, if they're destroyed, is because they chose destruction. All right? It's not the eternal benevolence that's destroying. Okay? It's not the ever presence of benevolence that destroys. Okay? It's the total rebellion against benevolence that cause you to end up destroying yourself. All right? So it's not past finding out that his ways are right. Okay? Because it's out of infinite divine love. Everything that the true and living God does is out of infinite divine love. It is not out of hatred. It is not out of jealousy. It is not out of envy. It is not out of anger. It's not out of any of these negative attributes. My Akis are misguided on that. Okay? So, those of us that have been given this spiritual clarity and understanding, we have to endure and persevere in his reverence and do not forsake nor forget his eternal law of divine love. Okay? When we persevere in his reverence, that's having deep respect for the knowledge that was given unto us from the ever presence of benevolence. Okay? Being a, how do I say this without putting titles on it? Being a caretaker of the oracles of the true and living God is a responsibility, okay? Is a heavy responsibility, all right? Because it has severe consequences attached to that responsibility, okay? And that severe consequences is your destruction. And it's not that our God destroys us, but if we ever went contrary to his eternal law of divine love, malevolent forces will show no mercy upon us. Well, they don't show mercy, but there's no mercy for us. Like, we're not going to be we wouldn't be delivered if we chose to turn against divine love and do evil. You know what I'm saying? If I chose to do evil, all right, any kind of evil against divine love, knowingly, okay? If I knowingly chose to go contrary to my God, all right, and serve a different God, then automatically I've turned my back on my God. And when I turn my back on my God, that leaves me open to the adversary to destroy me. Okay, and at that point in time, yeah, the adversary will literally try to kill me. Okay, so this reverence to my God is to literally cleave for dear life unto my God, never forsaking my God. Okay, never leaving my God to trust in another God. No matter how dire my circumstances appear, okay? No matter what the hell I'm having to endure. For if you endure, okay, I'm having to endure a lot of hell in this physical life. Okay? My whole life I've had to endure a lot of suffering. Okay? I resonate with that passage about the suffering servant. Okay, I resonate deeply um, with the suffering servant. All right, but it's because he said, "My sheep hear my voice and they follow." But even before I had any kind of clarity and or understanding of the scripture, and or the teachings of the promised anointed one, all my life I was a suffering servant and I didn't know it. Okay, I've endured a lot of abuse, okay? A lot of emotional um, abuse, okay? Narcissism, like growing up in a narcissistic family, being gaslighted and manipulated, that is abuse, okay? That's abuse. All right, so I endured that even in ignorance when I didn't even know what the hell was happening. Okay, my reality was constantly being manipulated. Okay, but now that I have received the clarity and the understanding, I am to persevere in reverence to my God. Okay, not in fear, but in reverence. The fear comes into place, knowing that if I turn from my God and put my trust in another God, hell yeah, I should fear that. Rightfully so. I should fear turning from my God. Okay? That's the only time that it's healthy fear. If people want to call fear healthy. Okay? There ain't nothing healthy about fearing the God that you say you love and serve and worship. You cannot fear someone that you genuinely love. Okay? But you can definitely reverence someone that you deeply love and that you sincerely love. You will reverence them. You will respect them. Okay? But yeah, fear being outside of the protection of the ever presence of benevolence. Fear being from up under his umbrella of protection. All right, that's what I fear. If I fear anything, it's being without the protection of my God. Okay? I serve the ever presence of benevolence. I serve the God of divine love and compassion and kindness and mercy and empathy. Okay? I serve the God that protects and provides for all those who love him. Okay? I don't serve a God of bloodshed. I don't serve a God of vengeance. I don't serve a jealous God. I don't serve a vengeful God. Okay? So if that's the God that people want to serve, they want to serve a vengeful, a vindictive God. Okay, they want to serve an unmerciful God. They want to serve a God of wrath and bloodshed. Okay, they want to serve a God that loves the smell of burnt animals' flesh. Okay, hey, you serve the adversary. You do not serve the true and living God. Okay? So, I keep the eternal law of the true and living God. All right? And I endure all of this hell, all right, while I'm doing it. So the time shall change over me for good. Okay? And if the times change over for me for good, all right? If the times change over me for good, okay? Then all those who are cleaving will also receive the good. But all those who stood in opposition to me, when this time changes over for good for me, you're going to be cut off from the good. That's unfortunate for you. Okay? It's unfortunate for you. But does that make my God evil? Because you're cut off from the good at that point? No, it doesn't. Because all of this time, you've had a choice to join with his servants or make yourself an adversary unto his servants. Okay? The whole world is about to see the consolation of Zion. The consolation is restoration, aka getting back our ancestral lands and all of our resources, our inheritance, our heritage, everything that's been stolen from us by the worst of the heathen. They can't have this any longer. Okay? Is about to be taken from them. I know it's hard to believe. All right? It's hard for you people in all your arrogance to believe this. But I already showed you that the US dollar is basically collapsing. It had its time frame. Okay? Y'all had your time frame to get all your prosperity and enjoy it. Okay? So now you're going to see the consolation of Zion. Because whatever is now is nothing. So whoop-de-doo, you got all your prosperity. You spent a lifetime in selfishness and greed. But that which shall be is very great. See, you you accepted the temporary fool's gold. All right? And you've been spitting upon the real gold that looked like it was nothing, but yet underneath all the filth that was slapped upon us, all right? Underneath all of that, we're the real gold. But you didn't know that. You didn't know who we really were. While you continuously mistreated us. See, I think it was Malcolm X that told you the media will have you hating the oppressed and loving the oppressor. If you're not careful, the newspapers will have you hating the people who are being oppressed and loving the people who are doing the oppressing. So all of this time, you've spent your time, energy, and effort earning what the worst of the heathen has created and imposed upon all humanity and all creation, only to pay them with that fiat currency in order to have you, it's like to get your free access pass into Pleasure Island. And the whole damn time, they have been portraying the true people of this land as nothing, nobodies, trash, slaves. And they have been silencing our voices for centuries. For everything that is corruptible shall pass away, and everything that dieth shall depart, and all the present time shall be forgotten, nor shall there be any remembrance of the present time, which is defiled with evils. For that which runneth now runneth into vanity, or unto vanity. That which runneth now runneth unto vanity. Everything within this world, in this false ass reality, in this illusion, is nothing but vanity, superficiality. And that which prospereth shall quickly fall and be humiliated. Imagine that. It's in the scripture. Is that not enough? Do you need more? Do you need more, people? Do you need some more? Because we are to prove all things. Okay? We prove all things. Yeah, we do. Alright? More of the apocalypse of Baruch. And the mighty one did according to the multitude of his mercies, and the Most High according to the greatness of his compassion. And he revealed unto me the word that I might receive consolation. And he showed me visions that I should not again endure anguish. Oh man, oh my God. Father, I'm already, look how many tabs I like. Okay, let me break it down for you people, okay? He has revealed unto me the word that I may receive consolation. So when he gave me the clarity and the understanding of the reality that I was born in, when he gave me the spiritual clarity and understanding of the reality that I was born in, that gave me consolation. It gave me validation. Okay? It gave me understanding for why. Like, it answered all my questions. Do you understand that when you receive the clarity and the understanding to all of your questions, everything that you've wondered, and no one in your life, no human, no one of these people who set themselves in authority over you, imposing their will upon you, could give you any kind of clarity and or understanding, yet they kept demanding and dictating and imposing their will upon you. Okay, when you begin to receive the spiritual clarity and understanding to all of your questions, bruh, that's consolation. That's validation. Okay? So, when he showed me the visions, all right, this is making it very crystal clear of the reality that I was born in, all right, so that I should not again endure anguish. Now this anguish is anguish of spirit, all right, being forced under the will of others. Okay, I no longer have to allow the will of others to force me into doing what they're imposing upon me. Okay, I don't have to follow the will of others. Okay, so I don't have to endure that anguish. All right, there is another anguish. There is another suffering that I can choose. Okay. Instead of the spiritual anguish that I've experienced being under the rule and will of others, okay, the power of others, all right, that was very like, that was, let me look up this term anguish, okay. So we can get this breakdown so you can understand what this does to a child of light. Okay, it's not physical pain or suffering, but it's spiritual pain. Okay, I choose the physical pain, okay, instead of the spiritual pain. Is what I'm trying to convey, is what I'm conveying. Okay, they're saying that anguish is severe mental or physical pain or suffering. So they know that it can be either or. The mental is dealing with spiritual. Okay, your mentality is directly connected. Your mentality and your heart condition is directly attached to your spirit. Okay, that's spirit. All right, spirit or physical pain or suffering. All right, so when dealing with anguish, that's agony, pain, torment, torture, suffering, distress, misery, sorrow, grief, heartache, heartbreak, unhappiness, woe, desolation, despair. The dark night of the soul. The dark night of the soul. Wretchedness. Purgatory. Hell on earth. Okay? Now the opposite of this is happiness and contentment. Alright? When I was forced under the will of others to live my life for the reward of money, to then take that money and pay those who were ruling over me, bro, that caused me endless misery. Okay? You can no longer impose this misery upon me. All right? Therefore, I choose to go through the misery physically. Okay? Physical pain or suffering. Okay? Yes. And it's still a bit of, anguish of spirit when, I'm literally enduring people refusing to show any amount of love unto me. Okay, people refusing to be compassionate, people refusing to be empathetic, people refusing to be generous. Okay, like that. Of course, that will cause spiritual agony, but that's where I'm strengthened by the ever presence of benevolence, because I know that I'm loved eternally. Okay, I'm not forsaken. All right, so I received consolation via the word that he revealed unto me. All right, and the visions that he gave me, the clarity and the understanding, all right, that I should not go back into and under the will of others, all right, and that he made known to me the mystery of the times, all right, let me know the time frame that I was born in, okay, and the advent of the hours he showed me, okay, advent. Okay? The arrival of a notable person, thing, or event. Imagine that. I'm telling you that your time is up. So to keep casting me off as if I'm irrelevant and as if I don't know what I'm talking about, you're doing that to your own damn detriment. Okay? Because I'm telling you that your time is up. You have approached the remnant of your time frame. Okay, it is over. Okay, it's over. That means, okay, so like the opposite of this is departure, disappearance, or disappearance. Okay, there's a dual prophecy. Okay, because it's time for our salvation. Okay, so clearly there's something arriving. There's something that's going to make an appearance. There's something that is emerging. Okay, there's something that's surfacing. There's something that's occurring. There's something that is dawning. Okay, there's been an origin for this, okay? There's something that's been birthed, okay? There's something that's rising, all right? Something in development, something approaching, coming, looming, nearing, advancing, okay? And you cannot stop it, okay? The wicked cannot stop the rise of the righteous, okay? But what is about to go away is wickedness. This is about to be a departure of wickedness, all right? And I'm telling you, all right. And this mystery of the times was made known to me by the true and living God. Okay, so now this was shown unto me, all right, and I'm proving it via these records. Well, how is it that I have these records? How is it that I'm not out in the street like the majority of my people, doing all this wickedness and just all this pervert? Why is it that I'm here doing this work? Is this by coincidence? Therefore, my brethren, I have written to you that you may comfort yourselves regarding the multitude of your tribulations. So this lets me rest in assurance that even though I am suffering, I am loved by my Maker, the creator of my spirit, lover of my soul. Okay? For know you that your Maker will assuredly deliver us, not avenge us, but that avenge us is that set time interval, all right, that the avengers are coming. Okay, now he allows freedom of choice, all right. That's why there's 3 levels of the kingdom. Okay, there's 3 levels of the kingdom, all right. So the avengers is the terrestrial kingdom, all right. They make movies about this in the Justice League and all of this, okay? They make movies about this. Come on. Okay? So, and you see how they whitewash everything. Okay, everything gotta be European. Is a Eurocentric reality. All right, they paint the likeness of themselves. Okay, every single one of these. All right, European. Okay, why is it? Except for what? Him. Okay, like, bro, it ain't really about skin color. But this is to point out the truth about what they have done. Okay. You clearly see we live in a Eurocentric reality. All right, there's no ignoring this. Okay, so we've been forced to live in their world. Okay, but nevertheless, I didn't come here to talk about that. I came here to show you the Justice League. Okay, I came here to show you that yes, this kingdom, there's an appointed set time frame for this kingdom to come render justice. Okay? And it is allotted by the true and living God of the higher realm. Okay? Everything is done in divine timing for benevolent purposes. Okay? So, for know you that our Maker will assuredly protect and deliver us and allow justice for us, all right, and allow the destruction of the nations. Okay, all of our enemies who set themselves as an adversary against us. They set themselves in authority over us. Okay, all those who cleaved unto them, okay, and banded together with them to uphold this system. Okay, they have made themselves our enemies. All right, so understand the true and living God is going to allow them to be destroyed. Okay, he's not going to deliver them with us. We're not all one and the same. Okay? It's a dual prophecy. All right? So they are going to be rewarded according to all that they have done to us. Okay? You live by the sword, you die by the sword. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. But you're not going to go into captivity of the righteous. All right, yes, you will. There will be some who will be under our dominion, but it's only those who willingly choose that. If you don't really willingly choose to be under the dominion of the righteous covenant people of this land by cleaving unto us, then you are not a part. You're not the portion of benevolence. Okay, you're gonna be the part that's gonna be cut off. Okay, therefore you're gonna reap exactly what the hell you've been sowing, and you can go over your life. Okay, your conscience have recorded everything. All right, whether you seared it or not. Okay, it's still recorded. All right, you just blocked yourself from it. All right, now everything that you've done to us is gonna be done to you. All right, when you don't repent and atone to overturn your wicked deeds, surely it's coming back to reap accordingly. You reap what the seeds that you've been planting, people, is produced a crop, whether it's good fruit or rotten fruit. All right. Nevertheless, the harvest is here. All right, and the harvesters are coming, and the harvesters are the reapers, aka the Justice League. Okay, and yeah, you're gonna reap accordingly. All right. Also, that the consummation which the Most High will make is very high, and His mercy that is coming, and the consummation of His judgment is by no means afar off. You need not suppose that this is going to be a lifetime away. No, we're at the end. Okay? And this is the time frame we're in. Okay? For look, we see now the multitude of the prosperity of the Gentiles. We certainly do. We see how they have all of the prosperity. Prosperity! Yeah, how did you get it? How did you get your prosperity? Hold on. I'm trying to go faster here. Let's go. Come on. I got so much up and I'm just flowing, bro. I'm just straight flowing here. How'd you get your prosperity? They totally ignore all the bloodshed that was spilt upon this earth, especially here in the Americas, in order to bring about Christianity, evangelical Christianity. All right? Don't want to acknowledge the atrocities that's been done upon this earth and here in the Americas in order to establish their religion of Christianity and this economic system. All right, they want to continue ignoring the tribulation of the ancient seed of the Yahudim and the direct descendants of the Messiah. They can care less about how life has been absolute hell on this earth for us while they've lived in their heaven. Talking about they're about to be raptured to go to heaven. No, you built your heaven at our expense. All right, you built your heaven on our ancestral land at our expense. Okay, you literally been trampling us. All right, you've been living in your blessing. Okay, the times of the Gentiles was your blessing. Christians, European Christians. All right, not just European Christians, but all you Psalms 83. Okay, all of Psalms 83. Yes, your religion was spread by way of the sword, and to the seed of Jacob. You so-called Negroes out there, you are following the religion of your oppressor. The oppressed and the oppressor does not have the same God. Okay? So you get all your prosperity. I don't live to get physical prosperity. All my life I wanted clarity, spiritual. I didn't know I wanted spiritual clarity and understanding. But I wanted to understand why I was being forced to follow the dictates and will of others. Okay? So, yeah, we can look around now and see the multitude of the prosperity of the Gentiles, though they act impiously. But they shall be like a vapor. And we behold the multitude of their power, though they do wickedly. But they shall be made like unto a drop. We see the firmness of their might, though they resist the mighty one every hour. But they shall be accounted as spittle, because they don't care about any kind of spiritual clarity and or understanding. They are constantly rejecting the reproof via the spirit of truth. They are constantly searing their conscience and hardening their heart condition. And we consider the glory of their greatness, though they do not keep the statutes of the true and living God. But as smoke they shall pass away. We meditate on the beauty of their gracefulness, their outward show, their outward portrayal. They portray themselves as benevolent. They portray themselves as the saviors of all humanity and all creation. They portray themselves as loving and compassionate, but yet they only are to one another and all those that are upholding this satanic ass system, while they all band together to shut up their bowels of compassion unto the true servants of eternal benevolence. So they have to do with pollutions. Nothing but pollutions. So as grass that withers, shall they fade away, 'cause they have no real substance. They have no spiritual clarity and or understanding. You're gonna see. Hold on. You're about to see the wizard behind the curtain. That he was absolutely nothing. All his smoking tricks, all right? It was all a sham. It was all an illusion. Okay? The Wizard of Oz is being revealed. Okay? When we consider the strength of their cruelty, though they remember not the end thereof, they don't want to remember their transgressions and how they got their prosperity. But as a wave that passes, they shall be broken. They're about to be broken. Hold on. We remark the boastfulness of their might, though they deny the beneficence of the true and living God, who allotted it unto them. He didn't give it unto them, but it was allotted unto them. 'Cause how else would our people ever learn what it was like to experience what the animals were experiencing at our hands? We had to learn. We had to learn from our transgressions. We had to learn to turn from our transgressions. Okay? And though it did not get the attention of the majority of us, because the majority of us, through all of this damn tribulation, never really sought the true and living God. Okay, or they got snared up in all of these freaking, what do you call them? Not strongholds is not the term that I was looking for. Stumbling blocks. Okay, there's been a whole bunch of stumbling blocks that's been laid by the adversary. Okay, so they made it very, very difficult for us to even find our God. Okay, they make it very difficult to find a true and living God in this reality that we were born in. They've done the most to hide the true and living God and make it like the only God is this system and money. Okay, so understand, just because he allotted this don't mean that he gave it to them. He had to allow this, people. This is what you don't understand. All right, you don't understand that it's time intervals for judgment. Okay, he had to allow it, but it was out of goodness. Okay, it was out of benevolence. All right, is it not a good thing to give the other nations a divine opportunity to come over here to either demonstrate his righteousness and his goodness, all right, or just operate in their carnal flesh? Okay, he gave them an opportunity to get to know his goodness, all right? Allow them over here to his lavish, abundant, prosperous lands. Okay, even allow him access to his covenant people, and not all of us were evil. Okay, some of us were extremely, meek and humble of spirit. Okay, and like during this time frame, we've been literally destroyed and devoured, and but now we've grown horns and we've been given a sword. Okay. So, understand your time's up, okay? And y'all been denying the beneficence of our God who allotted this time frame to you. But you're about to pass away as a passing cloud, all right? For the Most High shall assuredly hasten his times, and he shall assuredly bring on his hours, and he shall assuredly judge those who are in this world, okay? And in his earth, okay? And shall visit in truth all things by means of all their hidden works. Okay, they hid their hands. They did all of these heinous, atrocious deeds, and then have hidden it. Okay, but we're bringing it up and we're showing you the scripture. All right, that this is what they would do. Okay. Second. Oh, bro, be taking a lot out of me. Enoch 102:14. I took this screenshot here, but I put this book of Enoch in here. Screenshot. I cropped it in there. This Big Judah video, part 2, is straight fire, if I do say so myself. John 3:16 has sealed the fate of the Gentiles. All right. I don't know when I took the screenshot, but I think it was sometime maybe last year or the year before, something like that. We hoped indeed to have been the head. This is the book of Enoch, chapter 102. We hoped indeed to have been the head, but we have become the tail. We have been afflicted when we have exerted ourselves, but we have been devoured by sinners and the ungodly. Their yoke has been heavy upon us. Those have exercised dominion over us who detest and who goad us. All right, that's tempting us to be angry. All right, like literally doing things to us to rile us up. Okay, rile us up, like this whole thing about the HBCUs, under attack or under the threat of attack, okay? like, and yet we had nothing to do with, this whole, I don't even want to mention it, bro, because I don't want to play into these things that, bruh, the world is a stage, okay? The world is a stage is all I'm going to say on that, okay? This world has been made into a stage, okay? And so anyway, we've been allotted under the dominion of those who detest and who literally provoke us, okay, and those who hate us. We've humbled our neck, okay. So we've been um we've been docile, some of us, okay, not all of us, but some of us, not any longer. We don't humble our necks any longer to mortal men, okay. No, we stand with the authority of the Spirit of truth. That's the sword that we've been given, okay. And the horns that we've grown is the reproof via the Spirit of truth, okay. Many people don't like our horns. Nevertheless, we have these horns, and you can't refute this truth. We've been the ones given the wisdom. We've been given the mouth with wisdom, where none of our adversaries are able to gainsay. How you gonna debunk this? You can't debunk eternal truth, okay. So we don't no longer humble our necks to those who set themselves in authority over us. Now we're standing up in great boldness in the face of those who have afflicted us, okay. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 5, look it up. I don't got time to go into it, I got too much stuff up, all right. But they have shown no compassion toward us, okay. So when we didn't have the clarity and or understanding, before we were able to receive the sword of the Spirit with the spiritual clarity and understanding, before we were able to accept the reproof via the Spirit of truth, humbling ourselves to the Spirit of truth to accept that, and baptized by fire and all of this, okay. We were forced to humble our neck, okay. We were forced to they grind the faces of the poor, okay. So we were forced to earn their fiat currency money for a living. We were forced to lay our bodies as their ground and as their street to them to just continuously walk over us and trample us, okay. But we're no longer doing that, okay. While we were doing that, y'all show no compassion unto us, okay. Even when I was doing that, I had no love, no compassion, no kindness, mercy, and or empathy shown unto me, okay. No, I've been mistreated the entirety of my life, all right. We have been desirous of escaping from them, okay, that we might fly away and be at rest. But we have found no place to which we could fly and be secure from them, okay? The will of others being imposed upon us, okay? We have sought an asylum with princes in our distress, okay? Those who had the power to help deliver us, all right? And have cried out to those who were devouring us. But our cry has not been regarded, nor have they been disposed to hear our voice, continuously silencing us, continuously diminishing and ignoring us. But rather to assist those who plunder and devour us, those who diminish us and hide their oppression, who remove not their yoke from us, but devour, enervate, and slay us, who conceal our slaughter, nor remember that they have lifted up their hands against us. They want to forget all of that and say John 3:16, God loves everybody. That's why that sealed the fate of you Gentiles, because you don't want to deal with your real history, and you don't want to deal with your heart condition nor your mentality. So all your hidden works is going to be revealed, And he shall assuredly examine the secret thoughts, and that which is laid up in the secret chambers of all the members of men. Okay? And shall make them manifest in the presence of all with reproof. Sharper than any two-edged sword. For the word of the true and living God is living and active, sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing to the division of soul and of spirit, of joints and of marrow, and discerning the thoughts and intentions of the heart condition. Okay? Yes, sir. See? That sword. Okay? Your prosperity means nothing because it's all fool's gold. It's fiat currency. Okay? It's man-made idols. It's a man-made idol. Okay? It has no real power other than what man has given unto it. All right? So, let none therefore of these present things ascend into your hearts, but above all, let us be expectant, because that which is promised to us shall come. And let us not now look unto the delights of the Gentiles in the present, but let us remember what has been promised to us in the end. All right? For the ends of the times and of the seasons, and whatsoever is with them, shall assuredly pass by together. All right? Everybody that keep attaching themselves to the worst of the heathen, living for the reward of money and saving it, all right, understand, you are about to pass away. All right, the consummation, moreover, of the age shall then show the great might of its ruler, when all things come to judgment. All right, do you therefore prepare your hearts for that which before you once believed. Okay, lest you come to be in bondage in both worlds, so that you be led away captive here and be tormented there. Okay, you're going to suffer one way or another, either physically or spiritually. Okay? We have a choice, people. Now, all the makers of idols will be put to shame and disgraced. They will go off into disgrace together. All right? Dual prophecy. Because the righteous, obedient, covenant remnant of the Yahudim, we're going to be delivered by the true and living God with eternal salvation throughout everlasting ages. We will never again be humiliated and or disgraced. Okay? Yep, all the proud and the arrogant is about to be humbled. Okay? You coming against those who the true and living God is exalting. And when you set yourself in opposition to the true servants, the authentic servants of the true and living God, it is you that will be humbled. Okay? So yeah, and the beast shall cause all to receive this mark in their right hand, but he shall not have the power over you to make you receive it in your forehead. In other words, your mind and your heart can be centered in the Hamashiach and in the eternal law of divine love that he came to teach and demonstrate. with his life. Okay? Even though you may be strong-armed into participating in the economy that has been established among you. Okay? Because we all have a choice. Some people choose to live to sustain their flesh. Okay? And that in and of itself is not altogether evil. Okay? Because that's been imposed upon us. Alright? So the true and living God understands that. Understands that the wicked have control of all the freaking lands and resources of the freaking earth. Alright? So you're not necessarily punished simply because you earn your money for a living. No, you're gonna be punished because of your hardened heart condition and your seared conscience. Okay, your choice to live a life of selfishness, your choice to refuse to walk in divine love, your choice to refuse to have compassion, kindness, mercy, empathy, and generosity out of the abundance of all your selfish ambition. Okay? If you choose to have compassion, kindness, mercy, empathy, generosity, real love for his authentic servants with your abundance, then your heart will be centered in the Hamashiach, even though you are participating in the economy that's been established among you. Alright, I already went over this. Okay? And if your hearts are centered in the Hamashiach, then you shall use the economy of the beast to do the works of the Hamashiach. Okay? And you will use your money to do good. Alright? Clothe the naked. Feed the hungry. Liberate the captive. Okay? You are to help liberate the captive, if you have the power to do so. Okay? Administer relief to the sick and the afflicted. Alright? Relieve oppression and misery. Relieve suffering. Okay? Understand, it is an oppressive thing to be forced to go without your bare necessities. Alright? That's oppression. That's tyranny. Especially when it's happening to the original people of this land. We're on this land that was given unto us by our God. And those who set themselves in authority over this land and over us, they're depriving us of that which our God had freely given unto us. Unless we spend our time, energy, and effort earning their fiat currency in order to pay it unto them. That's oppression. Okay? That's imposed oppression upon his obedient covenant remnant. You want to stop doing that. Okay? So in other words, you shall work with the mark of the beast in your right hand, with your heart and mind centered on the Hamashiach. Alright? Whatsoever you do for one of the least of these, my brethren, you are doing it for me. He did tell you that. Matthew 25:45. I tell you the truth. When you refuse to help the least of these, my brothers, you are refusing to help me. Okay? And do not think you can have your heart and your mind centered on the Hamashiach if you do not do the works of the Hamashiach. For even the Hamashiach had the mark of the beast in his right hand. Okay? Because he was born during the Roman Empire. And his ministry happened during the Roman Empire. Alright? And for this purpose was Judas called, so that he might carry the bag among the apostles of the Hamashiach, so that they could participate in the economy of the beast. the apostles of Christ nor Christ was earning money. Okay? No, they were operating in their spiritual mission. And Judas was the one that carried the money bag among them. Okay? So that we could participate in the economy. All right? So that we would not be killed by the beast. Okay? That's providing our bare necessities. All right? The purpose of Judas is to provide our necessities, that which we want and need. They're the ones that carry the money bag, because it was the Gentiles that initially their mentality and their heart condition was geared after the physical prosperity. Okay? This is what the Gentiles seek. Matthew 6:32. Okay? Well, let's start in verse 31. Therefore take no thought, saying, what shall we eat, or what shall we drink, or wherewithal shall we be clothed? For after all these things do the Gentiles seek. For your heavenly Father knoweth that you have need of all these things. All right, now let's get a historical record to show that this is initially what the Gentiles sought for. Okay? All right, and this is after they destroyed us. So let's start up here. All right, this is from Return of the Children of Light. During the conquest, the Spanish, directed by the Catholic Church, the abominable church, systematically destroyed nearly all vestiges of Incan spiritual life. Every lineage, all right, Waka, every, I don't even know how to pronounce that. I'm not even going to attempt it. Oh no. All the ceremonial sites, and the Quipus, all right. Moreover, the conquistadors invaded sanctuaries of the virgins of the sun, whom they raped. Okay. The agricultural terraces and irrigation systems were seized but were not maintained. As a result, the people were no longer connected to the stars from which they originated. The solstices and equinoxes, so vital to the people's vision, could no longer be accurately observed. The people's ties with history were severed, and there were no longer any surpluses of food or water, but instead droughts and famines. All right, so they disenfranchised us. All right, the conquistadors, driven by overwhelming greed and a blind arrogance based on an indoctrinated sense of moral superiority, had but two interests: subjugation and gold. So they took us into captivity, stole our lands, all of our resources, set themselves on top of us. The story in Mesoamerica is much the same as that in Peru, although in both regions, even long after their golden ages, the civilizations overran by the Spaniards, were in many ways far more advanced and progressive than the cities of Spain at that time. Let me read it again. The civilizations overrun by the Spanish were in many ways far more advanced and progressive than the cities of Spain at that time. Since the Vatican had decreed that the indigenous people of the Americas were not human and thus had no souls, who else did they say this about? Didn't they say this about so-called black people? Hasn't it been presumed? Isn't this the mass consensus that so-called black people don't have souls, that so-called black people don't feel pain, there's no justice for us. Kamala Harris said that, oh no, I'm not gonna do nothing for just black people. But all of this time, there's been bills for just Mexicans. There's been bills for just Chinese people. There's been bills for just Europeans. Okay? Like, there's been bills for just Japanese citizens. Okay? Like, all other nations that went through atrocities at the hands of this American government, they get severance packages. They get restored. They got to. It was something that was done just for them. Okay? But never for us. Well, we've always been considered as 3/5 of a human being by all of these nations. Within this reality. Within this reality is how we've been treated. That we're not even human. We're 3/5 of a human being. No justice for you. Okay? Anything was tolerated in the blind pursuit of the one and only God. Gold. Money. Fiat currency that's not even backed by gold any longer. But this is the reality that we're born in. Anything is tolerated in the blind pursuit of the one and only God. Money. Prosperity. Building a successful life for oneself. Okay? This is the world that's been established. Let me show you. Alright? Capitalism. Well, how come this money bag is at the top here? This is what everybody is aspiring to attain. Physical prosperity. Physical money. Why are you working so hard to obtain this physical money that is controlled by those who rule you? And these people are wicked. And they're holding on to all the prosperity. They're the ones to put the bag on top. Like, here, we'll give you a little bit. Let me show you another little representation here. Hold on. Let's see. Here you go. Okay. Alright. What you gonna do for this money? There's another illustration that was popping up in my head. Hold on. Let me find that right quick. Because, bruh, it's exactly like that. Yeah, this is what I was picturing. Right here. Alright? So they're on top here. Let me close this out. They're on top, okay? And they put that money back on top. You know, and they dangling this money. Y'all working so hard. Y'all supporting these people. You're supporting these people. This is Esau, okay? This is Esau, all right? You know, and the Gentiles, all right? They're all Confederate. It's Psalms 83, all right? Those that set themselves in authority, all right, with their fiat currency. And you're all working so hard for this, all right? This is what the Gentiles has been seeking after, all right? And the whole world been seeking after making themselves rich and prosperous, all right? So they can climb the ladder and somehow get up here, all right? Fool you with the celebrities and all of these things, okay? Like, bruh, y'all all a part of this system that's under the control of the wicked, okay? Alright, so that's what's been forced upon all humanity. Anything tolerated in a blind pursuit of the one and only God. Money. Fiat currency. Alright? From Cuzco alone, the Spanish took billions of dollars worth of gold, often in the form of extraordinary pieces of artwork melted into ingots. Okay? Much of the wealth that came from the conquest ended up in the coffers of the Catholic Church, which in turn continued to support the conquistadors. So they used the currency. They use the prosperity that they stole from us to support themselves and fund themselves in diminishing us and taking us into captivity and creating this satanic ass system. All right. Ultimately, the goal of the conquistadors was to break the spirit of the people. They were enslaved and brutalized, stripped of everything that had meaning, and their not religious, but their spiritual practices were outlawed. Like we're not allowed to operate in the spirit. No, you must operate in the flesh. We live in the real reality. You have to earn money for a living. No, I can flow by way of the spirit. My spirit, it controls me. I live by the leading of the spirit, not by the leading of my fleshly body. Okay? Not by the leading of my meat suit. Okay? I have that choice. Okay? But they want to try to outlaw, all right, our spirit. Okay? However, despite this violence, the seed did not die, but instead went underground within the unconscious, where in the realm of our deepest yearnings, it waited the return of the light. And now we're here. Okay, and you cannot refute this truth. All right, so yeah, after all these things do the Gentiles seek. For your heavenly Father knoweth that you have need of all these things. But seek ye first the kingdom of the true and living God, and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you, supplied unto you. So take no thought for how you're going to sustain your life. Okay? Sufficient unto the day, as the wicked have control of the resources and the earth. Trust in your God, the true and living God. Okay? So anyway, yeah, the purpose for Judas is to carry the bag. All right? And if you are a righteous Judas, then you will help the apostles of the Hamashiach, so that we can participate in the economy of the beast, so that we are not killed by the beast, all right, who only desire to sustain our fleshly mortal body while we're operating in our spiritual mission in this physical reality, okay? If you choose to be a righteous Judas, then you will be delivered with us. But if you choose to be a wicked Judas, then you're going to perish with the wicked who established the system. Okay? Nevertheless, Christ had a mark in his forehead. That was a name that only he knew. In other words, only he understood the things that he did. And only he had the intent to do the works that he did. Now, I'll show you receipts on the reason why I do what I do. Okay? I give you the clarity and the understanding as it has been given unto me. Okay? Ain't nothing been hidden. Okay? Alright, so that's all I'm going to get on that. Because I got to get through all of this, bruh. Alright, so we went through all of this. Alright, so that no one can buy or sell unless he had the mark, the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Okay? There's many different ways that you can pay. You can either pay with cash, or you can pay with credit, or you can pay with check or debit or, chip, okay? There's all of these different ways you can pay. Nevertheless, you're having to participate in this economy, okay? And you cannot buy or sell without participating in the economy, all right? You need the wisdom that we've been freely given. Okay, we are like a tree of life, all right, because we have the wisdom. She is dwelling with us, okay? The spirit of wisdom, the Holy Spirit, she is like a tree of life for those who embrace her, and whoever clutches her tightly will be joyful, Okay, I clutch onto the Holy Spirit, which is wisdom. Okay, I cleave unto that. All right, I don't cleave unto in God we trust. Okay, you can read this in Proverbs 3:18, people. All right, you know your judgment is coming. All right, tribulation of the nations. Let's see what else. Okay. This is why you're instructed to cleave unto us, nations. All right. Isaiah 11:12-16. He will set up a banner for the nations and will assemble the outcasts of the Yahudim and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. Also, the envy of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off. Okay. This is it, people. All right. Let's see. You need to understand. I'm wrapping it up. I'm wrapping it up, people. Okay. So you need to understand that when you blindly adopt a religion or a political system or whatever it is that you're learning from another mortal man, okay, based on the vain wisdom of this physical realm, it can form dogmatic belief systems, okay, and unknowingly you become like a robot, okay. Our mind, our brain can be programmed, okay, and this is what's been happening, okay. Many people don't realize that they have been programmed, okay. They don't realize that they are not themselves. They are what many people want to call NPCs, okay. Let's look up that non-player character, okay. Like, that means that you're not in control of your own mind, okay. There's someone else controlling you, okay. Non-player character is not to insult anyone, but they're telling people that they lack individuality, independent thought, blindly following trends or mainstream opinions like a pre-programmed game character, okay. These individuals are seen as, well, I'm not gonna read that because, like, bro, it's not that they're seen as boring. No, the ones that's seen as boring is us. Okay, because we don't participate in Pleasure Island. So we're the ones that's seen as boring. You see what they do? AI overview. AI is not the truth. Okay? They mix in their lie. Okay? They're not the ones that's seen as boring and repetitive. Or they're not the ones that's seen as boring, but they are repetitive. Alright? They are without originality. Okay? But they don't see themselves as boring, nor does any other NPC see themselves or others like themselves as boring. All right? No, they love one another. Okay? They cast us off like as if we're boring, like we're the party poopers. Okay? Hold on. It's like the people that give this fluoride stare. Okay, when you mention the truth, when you speak the truth, okay, and they look at you like they just do not understand. Okay, they just don't get it. Okay, and that is like over their head. All right. Hold on. Let's see. I'm gonna get one more thing. Okay. So it's like this, people. If you don't control your own mind, and you cannot control your own mind until you subdue your ego. Okay, you must humble yourself in order to have control over your mind. Okay, to regain control of your mind, you have to be willing to unlearn what you've learned. Okay, if you refuse to unlearn what you've learned, then you need to understand that you are controlled by someone else. Okay, hold on, let me try to break this down as much as I can. Let's see, because you don't understand. You don't understand that you've been controlled. The greatest weapon is not a gun or a bomb. It is the control of information. All right? To control the world's information is to manipulate all the minds that consume it. Okay? So when you don't know that when you don't know the time frame that you were born in, and everything that you are taught is according to the mentality and heart condition of the wicked people who established this system, all right, that we're born in, that's all you're gonna know. Okay? And you're refusing to let it go. And the reason why you're refusing to let it go is because you refuse to humble yourself like little children. All right? So therefore, you're under the influence of the greatest weapon, which is the mass media. Okay? The mass media has shaped your mentality. All right, hold on. Whoever controls the media controls the mind. Okay? So the worst of the heathen have had control of the media. Okay? They are the ones who created the media. They're the ones who created tell a vision. All right? So they told you a vision. And all your life, for generations, you know, people have been told a vision via this tell a vision. Okay? So when you don't want to unlearn the indoctrination, then you don't realize that you are under the control of someone else's will. Okay, you don't realize that you're under their control. Okay, and you're being manipulated. Okay, they are manipulating you, and you don't know it. You think you're thinking for yourself. Okay, you think you're solving your own problems. All right, when they gave you your problem. Okay, and you're helping to perpetuate the problem that they created. Okay, so it's just an endless cycle. All right. Because you don't know that you are under the control of someone else's will. And it's all because you refuse to humble yourself and unlearn what you've learned. Okay? Therefore, you know, you become your beliefs and what you've adopted. Okay? And when you do that, you cannot elevate and grow as long as you're holding tight to various dogmatic belief systems. All right? You're a victim of the false ass reality of this satanic ass system. All right? And you're going to be destroyed with it because you refuse to humble yourselves like little children. Spiritual elevation is a step-by-step process. It is not instantaneous. All right? And the fruit of the Spirit only grows in the garden of obedience. Okay? You must be obedient in order to obtain the fruit of the Spirit. All right? A true mystic follows nobody's path, rather creates one, knows no authority. Okay? No physical man-made authority anyway. The only authority is the Spirit of truth, the reproof via the Spirit of truth, that living word via the Spirit of truth. Okay? The Holy Spirit, which is your conscience. All right? That is the authoritative word. Okay? It is not the written word of mortal men in the pages of a physical book. Okay? So we bow to no mortal man. Mysticism is not a religion, all right, but a lone journey where one becomes awakened from within. Illumination is the wind of light over darkness within oneself. The greater the spirit, the more one is alone. Spiritual warfare is what we have been enduring this whole damn time. Okay? I was born with a soul that is way too sensitive for this cold and ugly world. I have always felt things extremely deeply and differently than most people. I didn't know it at the time, but it's always been my blessing and my curse. And the only reason it's been a curse is because of the world that I was born in. Okay? The time frame that I was born in. Okay? It's been a curse all my life. Alright? But is about to turn into the eternal blessing. Okay? Physically. Sometimes people try to destroy you precisely because they recognize your power. Not because they don't see it, but because they definitely see it and they don't want it to exist. Darkness hates the light. Bell Hooks, September 25th, 1952 to December 15th, 2021. This is how you treat the true chosen ones. This is how the true chosen ones are treated in this world right now, in the here and now. We're impoverished. We have no money. We have no physical might in our hands. We don't carry man-made mortal weapons because we are the genuine lovers. But because of this is exactly how we're treated. Okay? We're unloved. We're deserted. We're shunned. We're rejected. We're left out. We're dumped. We're removed. We're invisible. We're forgotten. Okay? Isolated. Abandoned. Ignored. Alone. Disregarded. Okay? Unheard. Unpopular. Okay? We're the ones. Okay? Yes. We are the true, authentic servants. Okay? People that you never thought of could be the elect of the true and living God. Alright? We're the hidden ones. We're the ones that are literally ditched. Okay? Outcasted. Okay? Nevertheless, I've been standing with the truth, even though I've been forced to stand alone for a very long time. Okay? We are here to heal, not to harm. We are here to love, not to hate. We are here to create, not to destroy. Alright? I come in peace, compassion, and divine love. Okay? This ain't about physical strength. Okay? This is all spiritual. Alright? So we already went over that. Alright? These are the books, many, many more that we've been given. Okay? I've went over it many times. I'm not going to go over it right now. Okay? The strongest weapon in the world is the eternal truth, because the eternal truth is indestructible. Okay? Yes, we are a living witness, living out our calling. Alright? And because of that, alright, because of who we are, alright, This is the gospel of the kingdom that is being preached in all the world as a testimony to all nations. All right? Once we're done with our testimony, and every person, everybody has been given their opportunity to either accept or reject these messages, then the end is going to come. Everybody's going to be rewarded according to their deeds. Okay? This is why you're instructed to cleave. Now, Elijah on Mount Carmel. Okay? Then Elijah approached all the people and said, "How long will you waver between two opinions? If eternal benevolence is God, follow him. But if Baal is God, go ahead and follow him." All right? But how come you're not answering a word? How come none of you are answering a word that there is a difference between these two gods? Why do you keep trying to blend the two gods together as if it's one power, as if it comes from one source? It does not. Okay? Then Elijah said to the people, "I am the only remaining prophet of the true and living God." Okay? But Baal has 450 prophets. All right? So there's a very small elected few that speak reliable words of the true and living God, while you got a whole bunch of religions, religious leaders, churches all over the freaking place, religious institutions all over the place, calling themselves the ministers of God. Okay? You get them all over the place. Okay? Baal has 450 prophets. But there's only a few of us that are speaking reliable words. Okay? Hold on. So, this ain't about getting real animals, okay? This is all this allegory, okay? So you go ahead and trust in your God, okay? Go ahead and do whatever you do. Let the prophets of Baal choose, whatever your idol is, okay, for yourself, all right? Do whatever the hell you do, all right? And place it on the wood, but not light the fire yet, all right? And so we're all going to put our faith to the test is basically what it's saying, okay? So all of these people that's spending all their time, energy, and effort earning their money for a living, stocking and storing their money, saving it up, okay? They're purchasing storage things that they need to stock and store to save themselves, okay? Preserving themselves, okay? Canning foods, canning goods, okay? Stocking water and supplies, okay? All of these things. Understand, this is what this is about, okay? Let the prophets of Baal choose their idol, okay? Do whatever the hell you do, okay? And we're gonna call upon ours, okay? So we're not spending our time, energy, and effort pining after money for a living. We're not saving any money because we're not spending our time, energy, and effort earning this freaking fiat currency. Okay, so we have no physical might in our hands. This is not we're not operating with your idol. Okay, what we're choosing to do is spend our time, energy, and effort freely giving these spiritual oracles by way of the Spirit. Okay, we've humbled ourselves to the reproof via the Spirit of truth, all right, to the Holy Spirit, in order for us to be able to receive these messages, to having been given our spiritual mission. Okay, the choice that we've been given to walk in obedience to our spiritual mission. All right, this is what we choose to spend our time, energy, and effort doing. Okay, therefore, I'm saving and stocking and stirring up spiritual wealth, not physical wealth. Okay, so all of the prophets of Baal been storing up physical wealth, and all those who are following the prophets of Baal is also stocking and saving up physical wealth and physical materialistic possessions, okay, and or substance. All right, I'm stocking and storing up again spiritual wealth, okay, spiritual substance. Okay, now then you may call on the name of your God, and I will call on the name of my God. Now the God who answers by fire, he's the true and living God. Okay, so we're going to see which one of us is going to last for eternity. Be it your fiat currency, okay, this economic system of earning money, okay, this whole system of obtaining physical prosperity, all right, living for the reward of physical prosperity, okay, is that the end all be all, or is this spiritual wealth of real divine love, compassion, kindness, mercy, empathy, generosity, purity, chastity, righteousness, holiness, all things benevolent, all things, is this the pinnacle of everything that's eternal? Which one is eternal, people? We're about to see. Okay? We're about to see. Is it your fiat currency, or this spiritual clarity and understanding? And all the people answered, what you say is good. Then Elijah said to the prophets of Baal, since you are so numerous, choose for yourselves your God, then call on the name of your God. Okay? So, this ain't dealing with no, killing no animal. I'm telling you, man, y'all gonna stop this perversion, okay? So anyway, you can go through this whole dang thing here, all right? But we're sitting here telling you, like, where's your God? Shout louder, all right? Shout louder for where's your God Baal? Okay, y'all having all of this tribulation come upon you now, okay? Where's your God? Y'all been serving, the Europeans' currency. Y'all been obeying the dictates of the worst of the heathen. So why is it that y'all in this tribulation? Won't you cry louder unto your God? And let's see if your God delivers you from the oppression of this government who set itself in authority. See, they've been oppressing the original covenant people of this land the entire time that they've established this wicked ass system. But now, all you nations that are upon this land, you're just now beginning to experience the tribulation. So keep crying out to your God and see if your God is going to deliver you. Perhaps he's deep in thought, or a company, or on a journey. Perhaps he's sleeping and must be awakened. Where's your God, nations? And they shouted louder and cut themselves with knives and lances, as was their custom, until the blood gushed over them. You're spending all your time, energy, and effort. You're literally harming yourselves. You lacking sleep, so you're drinking. You're consuming all of these energy drinks and all of these things. You're taking energy pills, energy supplements. All right, you're killing yourself. You're working yourself to exertion. all for physical fiat currency, so you can turn around and pay it unto the worst of the heathen, to have their permission to live upon this earth. Y'all sacrificing over and over and over, but yet there's no response. No one answered. No one paying attention. All right. Then Elijah said to all the people, "Come near to me." So all the people approached him, and he prepared the altar. All right. I've been doing this whole damn time. All right. There's a whole buffet on this channel that y'all just been turning y'all nose up to, just ignoring it, acting like as if it's relevant. All right. You have no idea what the hell you've been spitting upon. All right. So Elijah took 12 stones, one for each tribe of the sons of Jacob, to whom the word of the eternal living God came and said, Yahudim shall be your name. And with stones Elijah built an altar in the name of eternal benevolence, and he dug a trench around the altar large enough to hold two whatever seed. Okay. So anyway, it's the long way. We got it's not an easy path. We got to do these things intricately, okay? And we're divinely instructed and led via the Spirit. There's no way in hell this could have been done within my own physical might, okay? It was all done by way of Spirit, okay? All of this was arranged by way of Spirit. We don't cut up no bulls, okay? But we sacrifice our own life, okay? So we're cutting off, things that was a part of us that didn't serve our God, okay? We sacrifice ourselves, not others, okay? Hold on. So yeah, we sacrifice ourselves for our spiritual mission. All right, and we follow the leading of the Holy Spirit, okay, pouring out the offering, okay, and do it a second time, he said. All right, we do it over and over and over, okay. So it's being well watered, okay. So it looks like we're failures, okay. It looks like there ain't no spark, ain't no fire, and ain't never gonna be no fire over here, okay. We're just completely diminished and drenched, okay. It looks like we're just overwhelmed, okay. And at the time of the evening, okay, sacrifice, meaning to sacrifice yourself, Elijah the prophet approached the altar and said, "O true and living God," all right, "the righteous God of Abraham, Isaac, and Yahudim, let it be known this day that you are the true God of the Yahudim, and that I am your servant, and I have done all these things at your command." Everything that I've been instructed to do via the leading of the Spirit of truth, I've been doing it, okay? By the leading of the Holy Spirit, I've been following in one accord. All right, and therefore, answer me, O eternal benevolence, answer me, so that this people will know that you, the true and living God, are the true and living God, and that you have turned their hearts back again. Okay, check this out. That you have turned their hearts back again. Wow. Okay, yes. This is about a transformation of our mentality and our heart condition. All right? We have to line ourselves up with our God. Okay? And know that he is the true and living God. All right? Then the fire of eternal benevolence is about to fall and consume the sacrifice, okay? The sacrifice of ourself, okay? He's about to accept our sacrifice, all right? It's about to be licked, and it's going to lick up all the water in the trench, okay? Everything that looks like we're a failure is all going to be taken away. All of that failure, all of that diminishing, all of that like every single thing, okay, that made it appear as if we were nothing is gonna disappear. All right, and this is all gonna be supernatural. All right, and it's gonna happen within the physical. All right, When all the people saw this, they fell face down and said, "Oh my God, there really is eternal benevolence. Wow, there really is a benevolent God. Wow, he really is the true and living God. Wow, evil really isn't all powerful." Okay? Yes, that's about to happen. There is a difference between good and evil. Okay? And then Elijah ordered them to seize the prophets of Baal. Do not let a single one of them escape. All right? They are going to be taken into captivity. Okay? This is spiritual. All right? As well as physical. But it's not the righteous is going to do evil unto them. All right? Nevertheless, the time interval that's been allotted by the true and living God, they're gonna meet their fate, people. Okay, the allowing of evil for righteous purposes is not evil. Okay, you need to understand that. Okay, so those who live by the sword shall die by the sword. Elijah did not slaughter anybody. Okay, if he slaughtered, is by way of the Spirit. It was by speaking the living word by way of the Spirit. They're gonna stop polluting that which is righteous. Okay, all right. The Lord sends rain. This is the abundance that's coming for His righteous servants, His obedient covenant remnant. Okay. Now, these are some cross references. Joshua 24:15. But if it is unpleasing in your sight to serve the true and living God, then choose for yourself this day whom you will serve, whether the gods your fathers served beyond the Euphrates or the gods of the Amorites in whose land you are living. Okay, because understand, when they established this economic system and they took over our ancestral land, it's no longer our land. Okay, technically it's still the land that was given unto us, but it's been allotted into the hands of our enemies. Okay, therefore, because they have authority and power and control physical might, okay, clearly it ain't our land right now. It's their land, okay, and they treated us so, all right, and they treat us as if we don't matter on this land, okay. Nevertheless, we have the choice to come back to our God. We have the choice to come back to the pure covenant of the God of this land, okay, the true and living God of this land, okay, and that is the ascended master, all right, who was given the keys to all things. And those who follow him, those who obey his voice, taking up our cross and following him, he gives us the keys to the kingdom. All right, so now we have received the Holy Spirit with the unsearing of our conscience. Okay, we've received the living word by way of the Spirit with the reproof via the Spirit of truth. Okay, so we serve the true and living God. All right, so as for me and my choice, I serve the true and living God. You can't force me to serve your God. All right? You can't force me to serve the God of the Amorites. You can't force me to serve the God of money and materialistic things. Matthew 6:24. No man can serve two masters. Either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both the true and living God and money. All right? Understand, he knows you. Okay? Revelations 3:15 through 16. I know your deeds. You are neither cold nor hot. You refuse to make a choice. You want to blend it. I wish you were one or the other. So because you are lukewarm, neither hot nor cold, you have not chosen me. Therefore, you are going to be left to your own devices. It's going to be based upon your deeds. Okay? Whatever deeds you've sown, okay, the most, Okay, if it's 50-50, then you're going to reap according to 50-50. Okay? You're going to reap according to your deeds. All right, people? I call heaven and earth as witnesses against you today that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore, please choose life, so that you and your descendants may live, and that you may love the maker of your spirit, the lover of your soul, and obey him, hold fast to him, cleave unto him, for he is your life, and he will prolong your life in the land that the true and living God has sworn to give unto our fathers of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay? You nations are to cleave unto us. Okay? Because this land was not given unto your fathers. Okay? It was allotted by our God unto your forefathers. Okay? But it was given by our God unto us. Okay? And it's going to be given by our God back unto us. Therefore, you are to cleave unto us as we cleave unto our God. Okay? You better seek the true and living God while he may be found. Call on him while he is near. Let the wicked man forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts. Okay? Let him return to the true and living God, that he may have compassion. All right? And to our God, for he will freely pardon. If you want compassion, kindness, mercy, empathy, if you want these things shown unto you, you better be showing it. Okay? You cannot be conformed to this world. All right? Refusing to transform your mind by the renewing of your mind, transform your mind by unlearning this the indoctrination of this system. All right, relearning via the spirit of truth. You cannot be saved that way. Okay, you cannot be conformed and refusing to transform your mind and be saved, people. Okay, because you are choosing to hold on to a wicked ass system. Okay, and you're without any kind of spiritual clarity and or understanding. Therefore, you are not able to test and approve what is the good and pleasing and perfect will of the true and living God. You go based upon the dictates of your own carnal pleasures. Okay, and you use the scriptures to suit that which you desire to do in your carnal flesh. Okay. So you have to be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Okay? How come y'all don't want to listen to the true servants that ain't here seeking the approval of men? Alright? I don't strive to seek to please men. Alright? Because if I was to do that, then I would not be a true servant of the Hamashiach. Alright? And it was only allowed for a period of time for our people to serve your worthless idols. But now, it's time for you to listen to our God. Okay? And our God is using his people that are the most hated upon the earth. Okay? You want to check your heart condition because your heart is devious if you're earning your money for a living. Alright? You want to demonize those of us who don't want to do what you're doing. Alright? Your altars and all your idols and everything that you put your trust and faith in is about to be demolished. Okay? Alright, so you can see all of these precepts, people. Joshua 24. And if it seem evil unto you to serve the true and living God, Choose you this day whom you will serve, whether the gods which your fathers served that were on the other side of the flood, or the gods of the Amorites. Okay, I already read it to you. Okay, choose you this day whom you gonna serve. Okay, because it's not a blend. Okay, this banner is being established. Okay, the banner is being established. Okay. Alright, in that day there shall be a root of Jesse, who shall stand as a banner to the people. For the Gentiles shall seek him, and his resting place shall be glorious. Why will it be glorious? Because you won't have anything to worry about. You'll be protected and shielded. Having worthy of, or bringing fame or admiration. Okay? Celebrated, famous. Alright? Renowned, distinguished, honored. Okay? Outstanding, excellent, great, magnificent, splendid, supreme, noble, impressive. Okay? It's an impressive thing to come out from among the majority and do what's righteous. Okay? So, want to be a part of something that's wonderful, magnificent, marvelous, superb, sublime, spectacular, lovely, excellent, delightful, enjoyable, pleasurable for eternity, okay? Super great, amazing, okay? Stunning, fantastic, terrific, all right? Incredible, okay? Sensational, heavenly, all right, dreamy. Okay, y'all been living the American dream. That's temporary. All right, it was only for a period of time, not eternity. Okay, grand, fabulous. All right, out of this world. Okay, brilliant, smashing. Okay, the real capital. Okay, the champion. All right. Hey, you want to turn your back on all that is for the temporary riches of this satanic ass system, the fool's gold? Go right ahead, okay? And that's the undistinguished. All right, that's all those who refuse to unharden their heart condition and unsear their conscience. All right, and that's all the indoctrinated, willfully ignorant. Okay, with the mark of the beast in your forehead. And it's all because you have no love, no compassion, no kindness, no mercy, no empathy, no generosity, no purity, no chastity, no generosity, no righteousness, no holiness, none of these things. Refusing to operate in benevolence. So instead, you are malevolent, and you are a part of the wicked, and the wicked is about to be destroyed. Okay? So on that note, people, I'm going to go ahead and end it, and we'll be picking it back up when I can continue. Shalom.